Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shiva Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Brahmanandi. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ajanulambita Bujokanakavadatu Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksha Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Pala Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataru Namashristam Manumapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupurim Madurim Goshtavatim Radhakunda Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Yantah Pravishya Mama Vachimumam Prasuptam Sanjivayata Kila Shakti Darak Swadamna Anyam Shahasta Charana Shravanat Vagadim Pranandam Bhagavad. Hare Krishna. I'll speak in English, right? Да. Те, кому нужен перевод, можно перейти туда. Браджарина переведет. So, today we have initiation ceremony. And initiation, Srila Prabhupada used to start his lectures on initiation by saying that initiation means the beginning. At the same time, we know that, sometimes people, they've been practicing Krishna consciousness for 10, 20 years. Recently, I got one candidate for initiation who has been chanting for 35 years. And he's still a candidate. So what does it mean that this is the beginning? Beginning means that we're supposed to do it much more seriously, because the initiation, the meaning of initiation is that we legalize our relationship with our parampara by entering into a formal relationship. Of course, we know that our parampara is preaching parakiyaras, illegal relationship, but in this particular case, we are making the relationship formal, which is important. And the importance of it is that by formalizing relationship, we are being established in certain identity. When our relationship are informal, our identity is not fixed. Our identity is a result of relationship. That's why we are first studying Sambandha, and Sambandha means relationship. And while studying Sambandha, we are trying to fix our identity, who we are. And this is a very important point of Vedic culture. Vedic culture is helping people to be very firmly established in their identity. Whereas modern culture, which is 180% opposite of Vedic culture, is more or less making the identity vague, more or less removing the identity of people, making the identity very uncertain. In the modern culture, people purposefully, in the people, they're planting doubts who you are. And nobody knows who he is. And now nobody knows even which sex he belongs. And, it's not so clear. It's very clear. But, you don't need to be very intelligent to understand this. But that's the trend of the modern culture to more or less make the identity uncertain, because with uncertain identity people cannot really function properly. And in the modern culture there is no need for strong personalities. It's a hindrance to the established authority system. But in reality, for us to be ourselves, we need to know what is our identity, and our spiritual identity starts with our material identities. That's why in Vedic culture, first there is this Varnashrama Dharma, where people are being taught who they are and what is the duty according to their psychological condition, according to their physical situation. And then only when we have very clear about who we are and what is our function in this relationship, then in the material sense, then we can only try to establish our spiritual identity. Both are very necessary. Ultimately, we need to find out who we are in a spiritual sense. But before that, we have to understand who we are in the material sense as well. Because without understanding who we are, we cannot really productively function. If you come somewhere to some organization and you say, I want to be a member of this organization, and they say yes, and then you ask, what does it mean? And they say, we don't know, what does it mean? So it doesn't mean anything then. So to function properly, you have to know who you are. You have to know your duties, you have to know what is expected from you. And then when you're functioning properly, with the proper, fulfilling proper expectations, so on and so forth, then you feel fulfilled. Then you feel that you are complete. Without this, you are uncertain, and therefore the only thing which is remaining for you to do when your identity is uncertain is to consume. You become an ideal consumer. That's why in the modern culture they don't need personalities. They don't need full-fledged persons. They need somebody who is just consuming. And for that you don't have to be a person. You have to be just a body, which sometimes doesn't even have very, defined forms. It becomes undefined, even in this sense. So it's one thing to function without very clear identity. It's another thing is to function with very clear identity. So when we getting initiation, it's the meaning of it, one of the meanings of it is that we understand very clearly, I'm a disciple of such and such person, of such and such line of spiritual personalities, of such and such concept of spirituality. And therefore, because my identity is established, it's a great help for me to function with great and invigorated enthusiasm with this. This enthusiasm, the energy which we need, primarily comes from our ego. And when ego is strong, an identity means ego, and it's not necessarily that ego is bad. in Mayavad Sampradaya, ego is bad. In our philosophy, ego is actually good. It should be proper ego. The false ego is bad, but the real ego is good because ego is the source of energy. Ego is the source of enthusiasm. Ego is the source of very clear understanding of who we are and what is our goal. So that's important, and ultimately initiation means to establish a very important element or essential element of our ego is that we are eternally servant of Krishna. Krishna, what is this? Nitya Krishna Das? Jivara Svarupa Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Jiva by its Svarup, by its nature, but by its fixed nature, is always the servant of Krishna. Therefore, the main element of initiation is to get the new name, and to get the new name means to get the new identity, and to get the new identity means to get the identity of the servant. The previous name is closely associated with our understanding or identity as the enjoyer and controller. I am such and such enjoyer. I am such and such master of my survey. And today master dies. Everyone says Jai Haribol when he dies. And the servant is being born. And again everyone says Jai Jai Haribol. Because servant is born, and it's very important. So before we were practicing our servitorship, before we were trying to understand whether it will be comfortable for me to take this position and to become an obedient servant of Krishna and through the chain of disciplic succession. But from this point onwards, there is no turning point. It's actually a very interesting meaning of samskara. In Charaka Samhita, Ayurvedic treatise, it is said that samskara, in the sense of ritual, today we're doing samskara. Of course, there is meaning of samskara as some impression, something which is impressed upon us, some memories which are there. But when we take the word samskara as a ritual, Charaka explains that after samskara, there is a qualitative change in a personality, in a person, which does not allow him to go back to the previous state. Like, for example, there is this Annaprashna samskara when the child takes first grains. When he takes the first grains, he cannot go back to the milk suckling stage. He needs some other food. Just milk will not be enough for him to sustain his body. He will need some extra food to the milk because the samskara is there. Or even more clear example about Vivaha samskara. Before Vivaha samskara, somebody is supposed to be a brahmachari. After Vivaha samskara, he is not a brahmachari anymore. He cannot really go back. Of course, in ISKCON he can. No problem. Many times he can go back and forth. But in a proper culture, some change takes place, and this change is irreversible. You cannot really reverse it because some quality is added to your personality and you function in a different way. So in the same way, Diksha Samskara or initiation ceremony signifies this change, that you are established and fixed. Again, of course, people may try to do something different. People, sometimes they change their mind. You know, during initiation ceremony, they say, till the end of my life, I will do this and that and that. And 2 weeks later, they say, okay, I changed my mind, no problem. Because somehow or other, the words in the modern culture, again, very much inflated. There is no value in the words. But in the Vedic culture, if people give vow, there is no, they cannot really go back on their words. And that's another meaning of samskara, to help us if we want to be established in our self-dignity and respect, not to go back. Because we say, yes, this is my past, this is what I'm going to do, and I know that I want to achieve the goal of this life by following this path. So that's what I wanted to say, a few words about this identity and how the change of identity means also, because the samskara changes you internally, not only externally. It's very important to understand that samskara is an internal change which is facilitated by the external ritual. And this internal change helps us to function on a different level. We still chant our rounds. Before we were supposed to chant 16 rounds, at least 16 rounds. After initiation, we're supposed to chant at least 16 rounds. But the quality of this chanting is supposed to be different. Because before chanting, we're supposed to remind ourselves, I am chanting not because I want to be happy by this. Of course, Srila Prabhupada gave us these blessings, chant and be happy. But that's blessing. It's not that taking my chanting beads, I say, okay, I'm chanting, so please give me some happiness in return. That's the payment which I'm supposed to get. No, I'm chanting because I'm das. That's the motivation. Because I promised to my spiritual master that I will change, that I will chant, not that I will change. I didn't promise this. I promised that I will not change in this. I promised to my spiritual master that I will do this, and that's my motivation. Whether I get some happiness in return or don't get some happiness in return, I'm doing it. And this attitude actually is the best remedy to get happiness from chanting. It's the only formula or the only mood which helps you to derive the real spiritual benefit or spiritual experience from this chanting. Because I'm chanting not because I need something, but because my spiritual master wants me to chant, because Krishna wants me to chant, because our whole parampara expects me to chant and to do something meaningful. So that's the internal change which takes place. Before that, I'm a freelancer. Yes, I may chant 16 rounds sometimes if I feel like. If I don't feel like, I will not chant anything. From now on, you're not a freelancer, you are a slave. Because dasa means slave. We are becoming the slaves of the holy name. And we chant holy name, not only 16 rounds, but more. And we try to avoid offenses. And again, the root cause of all offenses is false ego. The 10th offense of the holy name is the most subtle and the most fundamental offense out of all 10, because the rest, the 9 offenses, or sometimes even 10 offenses, because if we add inattentiveness as an offense, then it's 11 offenses altogether. But they all stemming from this poisonous root of false ego. Aham mamadi paramo. In this verse of Padma Purana, it is explained that even though we heard so much about the glory of the holy name, while chanting the holy name, we're still more concerned with me and mine. What is going to be for me from it? What will I get from it? Or how will I enjoy when I finish this chanting? So this is a very common mood. You know, okay, yes, 1.5 hours, okay, but then let's think about what will be then. And then you chant Hare Krishna and think how you will enjoy in 1.5 hours, in 2 hours, in 1 day, in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year, in 45 years, whatever your imagination helps you to imagine about the future enjoyments. So from this, every single other offense comes because while chanting with self-centered attitude, you're putting yourself in the center, and all these considerations which are connected with yourself. How I will be, how it will be, and this and that, all kinds of stuff. And that's the explanation. Sanatana Goswami gives a very beautiful explanation of this offense in Hari Bhakti Vilas, in his commentary to Hari Bhakti Vilas, where he says that Aham Mamadi Paramo means that you consider yourself as the supreme. Paramo, Aham Mamadi Paramo. And it doesn't mean that you consciously think I am the supreme, but it means that you consciously think that what is happening to me is most important. This is the most important. What is my opinion is the most important. At least for me it's most important, but it means that you're putting yourself in the center. Aham Mamadi Paramo. I'm the center. You're not thinking what my spiritual master thinks is the most important, what Krishna thinks is the most important, what our great Acharya thinks is the most important, what my temple president thinks is the most important. No, I think, what I need is the most important. So that's what it means. Aham Mamadi Paramaha. I'm still there in the center of my life, and I'm trying to fulfill my own desires, and that means that I'm not the servant. So the functional change in my chanting after I get initiation is that I remind myself, yes, I'm not in the center. I'm chanting because I want to please. I want to please the spiritual master. I want to please the Lord. I want to please the devotees. And my pleasure is not important. And the very moment this brilliant idea comes to my mind that my pleasure is not important, this very moment the pleasure comes to you. The pleasure is a result of relinquishing the desire for pleasure. Happiness is easily achieved in this world. The only cause for happiness, real happiness in this world, is that when I give up the desire to be happy. And then happiness comes on its own accord. Because at the moment when we say, it's not important whether I'm happy or not, what is important is that Krishna is happy with me. At this moment, Krishna becomes happy with you, and because Krishna becomes happy with you, you become happy. Because the real happiness is the reflected happiness, the happiness which is coming from Krishna, which is reflected in our heart from his heart. So, and that's the functional change. And if this root is not there, if you are established in this identity as the servant, then all other offenses, they will die automatically. They will not have nourishment, because other offenses is just this erroneous, mistaken ideas of who I am and what is holy name and what is my relationship with myself, holy name, spiritual master, scriptures. This is all mistaken ideas, and all these mistaken ideas are rooted in a mistaken or erroneous understanding of who I am. And that's why it's so important to get the proper name, and again, as I said, the proper part of the name, the most important part of the name is Das or Devi Dasi. Sometimes people are more concerned with the first part of the name, how does it sound, and before that I was Bashar, and now I will become God knows who. But that's not so important. Because you're not becoming Krishna, you're becoming Krishna Das. And whatever name of Krishna is there is not important. What is important is that you're becoming Das. Oh, Devi Dasi. But of course it's nice to have a nice name, sometimes names, some people give strange names. I agree that should also be a consideration. But ultimately it's not so important. And sometimes also devotees think, oh, my spiritual master revealed my eternal identity in the spiritual world. And now, I didn't know that I'm actually Paramahamsa. Now it has become clear to me. Yes, your spiritual master revealed your spiritual identity, and this identity is Das, which means slave. And yes, we will serve Paramahamsas and so many other personalities in a spiritual reality. Our spiritual identity comes later. We are supposed to find our spiritual identity at the end or close to the end of our spiritual journey. Of course, spiritual journey doesn't have any end. But in the beginning, it's just something to meditate upon. It's not yet spiritual identity, but nevertheless, it's a very important part of my meditation. I'm Krishna Das, and I want to serve him with a particular mood. Of course, the mood is supposed to be transferred when the devotees get second initiation. With the Diksha mantras, or specifically with Kama Gayatri mantra and Gopal mantra, we're supposed to get the mood and the knowledge of our spiritual identity. But In the beginning, we're just getting some names to identify more closely with the spiritual reality rather than with the material reality which belongs to this material body. Anyway, so we're supposed to finish, right? That's the time. And we'll give the names. There are only 2 people who are bold enough to become slaves till the rest of their lives. Yes. So, Bashar, please come. Please pay your obeisances first. I remember when I was getting initiation in person, I also came to spiritual master and I kind of made some sort of obeisances, and then I heard somewhere from the top, Dandavat! And it really established my place, fixed my identity. So please tell in front of Nrisimhadev and Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled Vaishnavas which principles you will vow to follow till the rest of your life.
Hare Krishna. I promise to follow the 4 regulative principles: no intoxication, no meat eating, eggs or fish, no illicit sex, and no gambling for the rest of my life, Srila Gurudev, and to chant daily minimum of 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Okay. Okay, Bashar, so this is a very special Tulasi beads from local Tulasis. So your relationship is very firmly established with Nrisimhadev through this chanting beads and with this place. I'm very happy that you reached this point of your spiritual journey. And on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and all our Guru Parampara, I'm giving you a new name. This is name of Krishna, who is very dear to his, who is the life and soul of his elder brother. Your name will be Balaram Pran Das. Hare Krishna. Елена? We're not supposed to fall down after initiation before it's allowed. Okay. Пожалуйста, скажите, каким принципом мы...
Я обещаю ежедневно читать как минимум 16 кругов Махамантры и буду стараться быть очень внимательной при этом. Обещаю выполнять 4 регулирующих принципа: не есть мясо, рыбу и яйца, не принимать одурманивающих веществ, кофе, чай, Обещаю не играть в азартные игры, не заниматься незаконным сексом.
Я надеюсь, вы понимаете, что одурманивающие вещества — это не только кофе, чай.
Я уже в таком возрасте, что для меня это...
Спасибо большое. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and all our Guru Parampara, I'll accept your vows. Я принимаю ваши обеты и даю вам новое имя. Это имя может быть по-разному истолковано, но в конечном счете это имя Шримати Радхарани, которая очень дорога своим подругам. Одна из них — это Ямуна Деви. Отныне вас будут звать Ямуна Прия Деви Даси. So that's it.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for this very inspiring class. And now we're gonna do some Achman ceremony, and then we establish the fire. That will take a little time. Then we can maybe have a little bhajan until we start to chant the prayers. Maharaj, you wanna chant the prayers? Okay, so then we all take in front our Achman cup. Everybody has a plate? Everybody has a plate? Hey, Charu. Okay. So you can follow behind me or after me. Supposed to make this process 3 times actually. Om Apavitra Pavitrava Savavastam Gadobiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sa Vaya Vayandara Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Now you take the spoon in your left hand and make some drops in the palm of your right hand. You look into the water and chant Om Keshavaya Namaha. And sip it. Another time. Om Narayanaya Namaha. And the third time. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrava Savavastam Gadobiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sa Bhaya Bhayandara Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. And again. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrava Savavastam Gadobiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sa Vaya Vayandara Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Okay. The meaning of this mantra is whatever pure or impure or having passed through all conditions of the material life, if one remembers the lotus side, Sri Krishna or Sri Nrsimhadev, one becomes internally and externally clean. So now we are clean. We changed everybody a new set of mala? Yeah. Okay. So Paramatma Krishna Babu, maybe have a little bhajan, so I can do focus here and then we start with that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Prayers to our Guru Parampara, and in this way we offer oblations to the fire. You all have this aksha, this rice in front of you. So for each and every swaha, you offer grains of rice with this mudra, with the ring and the middle finger and the thumb. You offer into the fire. Some say or give the advice that you can throw it out of the region of your heart, or give your heart. Meditate upon that. You can do that as well. And yeah, you can just follow after me. Hari Om
Ajnana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Swaha Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Bhutale, Srimate, Bhaktivigyan Goswami, Iti Namine, Swaha, 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 Namo, Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Bhutale, Srimate, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Iti Namine, Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gauravani, Pracharine, Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi, Paschatya, Deshatarine, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Bhutale, Srimate, Bhaktisiddhanta, Saraswati, Namine, Sri Vashavanavi, Devi Dayataya, Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha, Vijnana, Daine, Prabhavane, Namaha, Madhuryochvala, Premadya, Sri Rupanuga, Bhaktida, Sri Gaura, Karuna Shakti, Vigrahaya, Namostate, Namaste, Gauravani, Shri Murtaye, Dinatarine, Rupanuga, Virudapasiddhanta, Dvanta, Harine, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Namo Gaurakisharaya, Sakshat, Vairagyamurtaye, Vipralamba, Rasambodhe, Budambujaya, Te Namaha, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Namo Bhaktivinodaya, Sachidananda, Namine, Gaura Shakti, Swarupaya, Rupanuga, Varayate, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Gauravibhava, Bhumestvam, Nirdeshta, Sajjanapriya, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma, Shri Jagannathaya, Te Namaha, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Vanchakalpa, Narubhyascha, Kripasindubhya, Evacha, Patitanam, Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Radha Shri Raghavinda Deva Prishtalivi Sevyamana Smarami Swaha 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 Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vansivata Tatastitaha Rasam Venusvanai Gopi Gopinata Sriyesana Swaha 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 Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Swaha 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 Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Schnell. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Gaura Haribo, Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Shri Harinam Sankirtanya Ki Jai.
Da gibt's noch 2 Stück. Ha? Eins, zwei. Ha? Nee, für beide hat schon.
Für Torschauen kann ich nicht.
Ja.
Ich will Teils fast schon.
Very nice. Thank you, thank you. Ich habe den Apfel auch gesehen. Ich habe schon gedacht.
Дорогие преданные, тот, кто остается на обед будет без платы, мы договорились. Так что приходите все на обед, да, не надо ничего платить. Дорогие преданные, послушайте, сейчас будет обмен подарок. Мы решим, в каком месте, в палатке или здесь.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Параматма Кришна Прабху сказал, что у нас еще есть одна незавершенная часть, обмен подарками. Шрила Рупа Госвами говорит: дадати пратигрихнати, прийти лакшанам. Это признак обмена любовью. Вот, будем обмениваться любовью. Харе Кришна.
Balaram Sie? Kannst du ein bisschen spielen, singen? Ich spiele mir dann, wenn das... So, Balaram Sie gesagt. Ich glaube, das ist nice.
We're gonna play cymbal. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jai Padma Mukha, Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jai Padma Mukha, Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jai Padma Mukha, Padma Bringa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Bhagavan Vishmadev ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Bhakti Vigyana Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Харе Кришна, дорогой Бхактивигьяна Госвами Махарадж, дорогие участники ретрита. Мы хотим поблагодарить сердце нашего ретрита, Параматму Кришна Прабху, за проведение, организацию замечательного ретрита. Спасибо большое, Параматму Кришна Прабху. И, пожалуйста, примите наши поклоны.